Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to LEGO MARVEL Avengers. I guess we're now going through the Age of Ultron Avengers movie. It seems like that's what's happening. At least that's what the last level was.
Decides to access something a little more exciting.
I guess I did figure
Nuclear codes.
I would assume that Age of Ultron kind of polishes the rough patches of the first Avengers movie and unifies the characters more.
Come to save the world. What's this?
It would be kind of nice, I think, if Age of Ultron had happened before the events of
I know that guy.
Loki and the Chitauri
Operates off the African coast. Black market arms.
in the first Avengers movie.
Where is this guy now?
Like what you ideally would have wanted to have happen, if you could go back and redo it, is have Ultron be the reason that all of the Avengers got together and worked together for the first mission and first time, and they weren't called the Avengers at that time, and then that inspired Fury to create the Avengers Initiative and convince them to all work together as a team to take on the bigger threat of Loki.
According to Stark, Ulysses' claws should be on a ship called the Churchill.
Because
Stay on the lookout.
you do have kind of a weaker enemy in Ultron, and it's kind of a forgettable side story. But then they also seem like, at least for the game, they're going to separate some things out, and we're going to have some sub-bosses. We are in a very pretty open world level here, much bigger than any of the other levels that were very flat, very 2D. And we have 4 different people you can play as, and I guess you're not capable of playing as Bannon. And we're once again in the overworld, and this isn't Manhattan, so there's clearly going to be some multiple overworld sections with some little collectibles to do. And we've got different background music playing, which is great considering how there was just like a huge amount of repetition of the Avengers theme song over and over and over and over again. And then these guys are just going to magically appear behind me whenever I run far enough away. They'll just spawn in behind me if they can't follow. This is the HMS Churchill, which would be a British ship. And it's going to put some Lego pieces on top of the ship that's mostly not Lego, and we're gonna have to maneuver ourselves. Although it seems like it would probably be easier to just apparently Tony does not have the Mark 47. Like, interesting. It seems like he can switch vehicles and outfits. But you have to watch the whole animation as they switch outfits. And that was the one that had the laser abilities before. And I'm gonna jam some buttons here just to see if there's any way to speed up that process. Nope. Hold B with the laser beam. Oh, I'm just hitting the wrong button. It kind of goes to show that they haven't given us enough of these levels that I can't even remember the right buttons to press. And That should give... It should have given enough pieces to build with, and yet it didn't. This is another example of the game kind of failing to tell us what to do, and instead just stepping us to a location. Like, there's nothing to shoot here, so that should have been triggered. There's nothing over here. I guess there is something over here. It's super ridiculous to have things off the screen and have your arrows pointing in the other way. While I am liking this second half of this game better than the first half, I still think there is a level of lack of polish here in rushing. Almost obviously because it is at most DLC instead of a whole second product. They cheaped out and cut the budget on it. Although I wouldn't be surprised if LEGO games are just getting their budgets kind of cut no matter what, because they like the parent company just doesn't have the money and they probably don't sell as well. I heavily suspect LEGO Star Wars still very much was the best seller. Like the first LEGO Star Wars original trilogy game was very possibly one of the best sellers, and you just have diminishing returns as you try to do other things. Alright, so now these pieces can be added. That's bad design. And we can charge up Thor to electrocute everybody in charge of this thing. I don't know what this thing is supposed to be. Some kind of floating boat. We're getting different music and now it's fading down to nothing. Feels like there should be more action when enemies start appearing, though. Yeah, the piano music here makes sense in an overworld where nothing's really happening, but it does. Like, this guy can just fly up here. There you go. So, well, we need Black Widow to do it legitimately. Or at least we want to do it legitimately with Black Widow. And scanning again. Still a decent amount of repetition here. Let's see. Trying to get to Hawkeye so he can fire his explosive arrows. And we'll see if that blows up all three of those. Yeah, it does. I don't know what the next part of the story here would be, though. Let's see. Can Captain America jump on these? I think he can. I think pretty much anybody can. So you have a couple of flying characters. Now we have a couple who are getting looped. And he doesn't have the ability to do anything there. So I don't know, maybe I am supposed to just fly a character this direction to build a bridge for everybody else. That too didn't feel like it was played out or explained well enough. Because if you open that door, that going forward every level may have a solution that involves a character just avoiding all the platforming, then that's gonna ruin a lot of the gameplay design. And it is definitely a problem with having characters that can fly and not doing something to limit it. I have no idea why holding A did that. But it did. Okay, so if you hold down A, you just rocket yourself upwards? That's interesting to know. Kind of just wasting time. Alright. We need Black Widow to open this door. This is one of those non-level levels where went the whole way around. Where you're in the overworld, but they're trying to integrate the levels into the overworld. This is where LEGO and TT games really fell down. They were just never capable of putting all of the story levels in the overworld, because it's just a completely different type of game. It's a completely different type of design. It's 3D platforming, which is way more difficult to wrap your mind around compared to say 2D platforming that you would expect from the other LEGO levels. And once we get in here, we probably will fall into a 2D platforming level section. I'm not sure I'd want to see him get rid of the 2D levels anyways.
To bring Hulk into battle with the Avengers. So he and Tony Stark developed a few safeguards in case the green guy decided to go on the rampage. The specialized Iron Man Hulkbuster armor can be dispatched from Tony's Veronica satellite anywhere in the world as a last resort. Sounds more effective than mellow jazz, bongo drums, or a big bag of jelly beans.
I assume we're still doing the Age of Ultron, and here we have pigs with missiles on their back.
Minister, where were we?
Now, Klaus, I don't know if he's being revoiced by an actor or if he actually said those.
The man in charge. Let's talk business. Want a candy?
I guess maybe he was just a funny character. And then they're doing funny visuals. They limited themselves definitely to only being able to do visual gags.
Now so are you. Your friend's rich and your enemy's rich, and wait to find out which is which. Tony Stark used to say that. You're one of his. Don't compare me with Stark. Junior. You gonna break your old man's heart? If I have to.
Yeah, I'm actually paying attention to the story, so you can tell it's a little bit more intriguing. But yeah. The limiting themselves to visual gags was was a mistake, and they brought it on themselves by only using the audio files from the movie, and then compared to the original LEGO games where they didn't talk. Of course, LEGO and TT Games swear up and down that kids said they wanted the characters to talk and not just emote and make funny sounds, whereas the adult fans of LEGOs were completely split there. In the long run, I don't know if I really believe that the kids were right, and they may have been sold on an idea. Sure, in LEGO, like direct-to-TV movies, the characters should talk, but in the video games, it would have allowed for a lot quicker in development and easier development. And there is a difference between like LEGO minifigs talking and a direct-to-TV or direct-to-DVD video, in that the writers are the ones controlling what is being written, where the LEGO games are always based off of a movie. They have been so far, at least. So you have at most 2 hours worth of lines of dialogue, a significant portion of which would not be worth using. Where a animated LEGO movie would potentially have hundreds of hours of writing deciding what the dialogue would be. Like simple things like collect the studs or unlock the door. Basic gameplay directions are missing in LEGO games because of the cheap way it's designed. And yeah, that does not help little kids play the game. So we're playing as Thor and Captain America. Captain America has vibranium, and I think there was supposed to be another metal in his shield, canonically. I can fly up higher. I'm not sure I'm supposed to. And then you have Quicksilver. You can't throw anything at him. Like, can we do our little shield bash? Sure. We shield bashed her, and that didn't really do anything. So am I supposed to come up here and find something to do with this stuff up here? Like, seriously, what am I supposed to be doing? They want me to fight this guy. This guy seems to be completely moving too fast for me to really hit him. So like, what are we missing? This wall lets us jump off that. There's all kinds of things everywhere. This would be a repair ability that we don't have. It's got to be something that we build or something. And maybe this is because I haven't actually seen Age of Ultron, and that's the reason I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. But this has consistently been a problem with this game, is that it does just let the player kind of squander and not really give them any kind of clue as to where am I supposed to go, what am I supposed to do. Alright. I'm over here. I'm just constantly trying to break things. Alright. So maybe I'm supposed to just break the box. And then yeah, there's like a top level on the box, and then there's a lower level on the box. I mean, there's clearly something you can hit. Yeah. What am I supposed to be doing? Alright. Let's come over here. Let's walk over this way and see if we get a pop-up that tells us what we're supposed to be doing. Tried to do that multiple times. Options, hints are supposed to be always on, and still we don't have them popping up. It feels like the hints are probably only a thing you get in the overworld game. Let's see. I suppose we'll try our shield. No, but as soon as Thor even gets near it, it breaks. Is there some other thing I've missed? Way up here in the front? Something that maybe it showed me and I forgot, wasn't paying attention to? She doesn't have the ability to blow up Silver. There's a little platform over here. Oh man, I'm so stuck. There's collectibles up higher, but I can't reach them. And there's no real reason why I can't reach them, but it still doesn't let me reach them. I did get a prompt there. Alright, so somewhere around here is a prompt to hold the X button. But the prompt's not working, Oh, you have to hold the X button and target the middle part. Alright, so that was incredibly complicated and frustrating. Great example where the game show said, Thor, break the box. It would have been very, very easy to have a voice actor, if there was any re-recording of any of the lines of dialogue, say, have Captain America say Thor, and then break it. You probably could get the words Thor, break, and box all from the dialogue of the Avengers movies if you spent a lot of time looking for those words. But clearly they didn't spend their budget on anything like that. Right, so now it's Black Widow's turn to do something. Scan once again. This is about the 4th time we scanned in the last hour. And I guess that means Thor, break the box again, throwing your hammer. Maybe it needs to be charged up. Maybe it doesn't. So he keeps trying to grab the hammer. And it keeps knocking him down. They don't really do enough with Quicksilver as a character, particularly. I think fairly quickly they decided that they weren't going to go the route of trying to use Quicksilver and Wanda as characters that would introduce other kinds of mutants, or enhanced as they were calling them. Which is probably a smart idea, because there already were too many superheroes, and introducing whatever percentage of the mutants and the X-Men that you could introduce into the world would have just complicated the universe quite a bit. The universe that X-Men exists in the Marvel comic books is fairly different from the real world, and I think Disney and Marvel's hope is to try to make the Marvel Cinematic Universe feel like it is set as much in the real world as it possibly could be. The real question is, why is Mjolnir not just hitting him? And then you hear Wanda, the Scarlet Witch was what she was called in the comic books, although I don't think they ever used that term. Her emotional based abilities being driven to rage after seeing her twin brother defeated. And that is a Captain America platform, obviously. And I don't think I'm supposed to be hitting the gold that's way in the back there. If I am, it's not doing anything. I think I'm supposed to be hitting the gold here. That's really silly that they would do it that way.
Guys, is this a code green?
And then very, very abrupt end.
Thor, status.
Very, very abrupt cut to the cutscene. You can definitely see how these levels needed more time to develop and more polish. I don't know why they can't.
This is going very well.
They're trying to get as much vibranium as possible. And the problem of bringing everybody into their own visions is that would expand the story, and for a video game that's fine, but I suspect the visions in Age of Ultron had to be fairly short.
Again, we'll break them. Only the breakable ones.
Here you have her having a flashback to being trained as an assassin, and we are now in a first-person shooting experiment that is actually first-person. Usually it's third-person shooting. Now we've gone into Captain America's dream, where this is the predecessor to S.H.I.E.L.D., the SSS, I believe is what it was called. No, I don't even think this is a predecessor to that. I think this is when Captain America met Peggy Carter in just a mixer. That's the 880. Let's see, it wants you to be right about here and hit B. And you're gonna dance with your hat on. And hold B. Agent Peggy Carter also had a TV series for a couple seasons. It was fine, but it certainly didn't go anywhere. Take note that the screen is fading to black, and you don't get to see a kiss, and instead he sees everybody apparently skinning their knees.
Is it him? Is that the first son of Odin?
And here we have Thor's nightmares. Here he is in Asgard, and you have a bunch of Asgardians dancing around. In this cutscene, this is a particularly long cutscene. There's really nothing you can do here. There probably are some secrets, but you'd have to get them in free play mode. This is also probably the first case of visions.
They see everything. They see you leading us.
Here you have, like, yeah, this probably is the first vision to ever be depicted. I guess it wants me to press. So his power is just destroying everything in the room.
Not a fan. Yeah, you better run.
They're using the plunger gag 2 or 3 times. Too many times.
The big one.
The vibranium's getting away.
And you're not going anywhere.
Of course not. I'm already there. You'll catch on. But first, you might need to catch Dr. Banner.
Yeah, doing the exact same toilet plunger gag that just was
It's
done.
not gonna happen. Not for a while.
The whole team's down.
I'm calling it Veronica.
They mentioned earlier at the beginning of this level that Veronica was the Hulkbuster armor.
That witch is messing with your mind. You're stronger than her. You're Bruce Banner. Right. Don't mention puny Banner.
So I guess I'm supposed to be tapping X.
We'll be getting a lullaby anytime soon, guys. Better suit up. Veronica should be able to help with that. Deploying.
Tapping X quite a few times to get the Hulkbuster armor to deploy. This clearly was a scene they wanted to. They just wanted a high action scene in this movie that probably could have avoided needing that. This definitely feels just like a very scripted battle sequence for a LEGO game where you're just pressing QuickTime events, tapping the X button. Where, yeah, I could see kids wanting to actually play this sequence, but the way it gets implemented, since LEGO games really don't have a battle fight, it's not a fighting game, it doesn't have a combat system really, it just has a combo of button mashing systems. Alright, so let's break this platform and let's see, we can shoot a cage down on him by holding X, I guess. Yeah, this is another great example of the difference between a video game and a movie. Right, they only had so much budget to animate these sections. And this animation really would not work if you were trying to duplicate this for some LEGO Marvel Age of Ultron, like direct to DVD cartoon either, because while some of these motions and some of these 3D models might work, the entirety of it is too repetitive, and it does not put the camera in the right place for a high action cutscene. The camera is just circling, and because it's a video game, they're just repeating the same actions over and over again. Meanwhile, we can try and shoot as many things as we want, I guess. But I don't think there's a good reason for that. And there's a bit of a glitch there, it seemed. Oh, if I press Y, I can also repair myself.
Deploying.
So you're controlling Veronica, the satellite, as your co-op partner. So it might be a case that you can switch to the satellite fairly fast to get through this whole section instead of just doing this, which, like, I can go really crazy and press these buttons as fast as I see the prompt, but I don't think that's what's really going to happen here. I think what we're supposed to be doing is this, is trying to gas the guy. Well, it doesn't seem like gassing works. We could warn.
This district is not safe. Please vacate the area for your own safety.
Yeah. So we did everything that the satellite let us do. Maybe that unlocked some kind of achievement, but it didn't really break us out of this fight. I'm gonna hold down the button. Yeah, I'm holding down the X button. It's doing pretty much the exact same thing that the other prompts were doing. So, like, I really just don't know what the trick is here. It seems to me like you should hit the buttons. But it seems to me what you really have to do is you have to mash the X button quite a bit until you get the B button prompt. And then maybe you don't press any buttons when it's not prompting you. And maybe that's how this all breaks down. Yeah, they're making a King Kong reference. Yeah, it's telling me to gas them. So now we can gas them. And time has slowed down. Which probably means we need to switch back to this point. Nope. They really do want me to gas them. Well, I ran out of gas.
This district is not safe. Please vacate the area for your own safety.
And see, now he just has this huge health bar around him. It's ridiculous. And apparently it still wants me to gas him, and it refilled the gas. So maybe there's a just amount of gas you can shoot. And I guess maybe I filled him with enough gas. One assumes this is sleeping gas and not kill the Hulk gas. There we go. Ridiculously long to get to that point, and then fairly slow to get to this point.
Sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. Sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
And again, they're just repeating the same lines of dialogue over and over again. Back to back in that case.
Not that way, not that way.
And this once again would have been a great example to for a reason they keep to create the Civil War is to have the Hulk go on a rampage and be blamed, but it barely gets even mentioned in the Civil War movie. Here you can see an entire building being destroyed to pacify the Hulk. That took way too long. Way too long. You had, I believe, at least 2 sections there where I really didn't know what I was supposed to be doing at all, which probably added a good 15 minutes to that level. And then you had a major Hulkbuster versus the Hulk fight, and that was no good. And they're unlocking Madam B, who is the person, I guess, who trained Black Cat, or whatever her name is. I guess there's a lot more story here. I wouldn't be surprised if there was 4 or 5 more levels, but we definitely would need some falling action and some more stuff. Either more just puzzles and kind of non-action LEGO gameplay. Either that, or they should just speed through it, and there should be maybe 1 or 2 levels left if they're just gonna move forward and finish the story level. I wouldn't be surprised if it is the case that there are just a couple more levels and they are all very heavily action oriented, and all of the falling action that you normally would have in a game like this is going to be hidden in the open world. Which, if they were going to have falling action hidden in the open world, they really needed to do it like LEGO Marvel Superheroes did, where you basically had to walk through Manhattan and potentially get distracted, or at least walk a very long distance to have some cooling off period before you started the next level. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.